Welcome to this next episode of YouTube where we had the first snow of the season. And again, October 5th is a little bit early for snow, and this is not snow that's likely going to stay. So it was about an inch, and it continued to snow throughout the day after I filmed this, but you can see the wolves are pretty excited about new snow. Luna and Bolts had just had a meal. They didn't eat all that well. They were maybe a half pound of food that they each ate. But they were pretty excited, and there was some leftover deer hide in the pen that also created a little bit of excitement. One thing you'll notice about Luna, again, she's very active, but that does cause her a little bit of limping on her back right leg. And so we, in addition to the supplement that she's getting, we are going to begin her on a more advanced joint supplement regimen, and we're going to also probably include baby aspirin or some kind of a anti-inflammatory. We don't want her on anything too significant from the standpoint of a young animal, and certainly don't want to have any long-term issues with her. We want to watch her comfort level. And again, by looking at this, you know, she's got a little bit of a limp there, but she's definitely not bothered by it. She's active and she's running around. We put a bale of straw in the den, so she's got a good 5 to 6 inches of straw layer that she can lay on. Both dens have straw in them. We've been trying to put some straw on the top of the dens, but with the snow and the rain, it just gets wet and loses its insulating value. So that's kind of what we're watching with her. She did reach 63 pounds this week, so she had a 3-pound gain from last week. Other than that, things are, again, going well, and you can see a little bit of a toss and some real excitability. We continue to go in with them every morning and every evening and make sure that we provide as many resources as these two pups need. Bolts actually hit 80 pounds. If I look at his chart here, it was 80.69 this morning. So that was a bit of a gain for him. So he's doing just fine. A little timid. And as you watch this scene, and there's that limp that I was talking about, Luna just was a little bit too hard on it and just kind of takes a little bit of a hop and a limp there. But one of the things that, again, we continue to practice is to keep Denali out while the pups are fed, and that is because Denali is a little food aggressive, and we want to make sure the pups maximize their opportunities to eat. And I'm not worried about Luna so much. I would watch Luna clearly drag food away from Denali. I've watched her drag Denali, as a matter of fact. And this little clip here shows her doing a little bit of a defense, and it's over a rotten deer hide, but Denali does a play bow, Luna does a play bow. Denali comes up and does a 4-leg stab to her, does a little bit of anal sniffing there, and Luna's preoccupied with the deer hide, but she does not think anything about going after these bigger wolves, and so she'll lunge bite them, and she kind of circles around, and even though there's not really any food to defend. But what's most interesting here is you watch that little Denali Luna incident created the stimulus for Aiden to come over. And Aiden's in airplane ears, kind of off to the side there. And he's got a T2 tail kind of wagging, a little bit of excitable. And he's starting to do some threat displays towards Denali. He's going after Denali, and that was all stimulated by Denali, kind of bugging Luna a little bit. Luna just is oblivious to it. She just goes about her business, chewing on her hide, right amongst those two that are showing a little bit more dominance. And Denali was getting a little bit maybe not submitting as well as Aiden would have liked, and so Aiden did a inhibited bite on the middle of the back, just kind of bit him in the middle of the back, and that prompted Denali's hackles to go up. And then again, Denali was still kind of going towards Luna, and Aiden does a pretty hard lunge bite, more of a hard bite there, and you can see now Denali's licking Aiden in the face and doing some appeasement behavior. His tail is tucked and he's got full hackles, but you also notice that Luna's on the backside there helping Aiden kind of bite Denali. So that's an interesting dynamic that's going on. And again, Denali continues to try to get that hide. Denali is very food possessive, so if we want to make sure these pups have resources, we get Denali out of there. But what it means is when Denali comes back out, he's circling around looking for a lot of food, and that's one of those kind of trade-off things. So that's what's going on in the main pack. And then in Grizzer's world, Grizzer is doing a face wipe here. Unfortunately, I got the back end view of it. Didn't want to go around and disturb him, but he just had some puppy leftovers. Puppies didn't eat all that well this morning, so there was about 2 pounds of ground beef left over, and he decided, he decides every morning that he needs the pups leftovers, so we give it to him. One other thing you'll notice, he's got a little bit of a coating on his head there. He scraped himself up against something on a tree or something and scraped up in that kind of bald spot there. So been treating him with some topical antibiotics, and so now he's back to having that kind of wet, greasy head. It was a little bit too cold this morning for me to wash it, so I just left it. But it healed up. It was one of those things where it just, he scraped up against a tree or up against a fence. It's hard to say. He's a pretty active boy. Could have been one of his episodes when he was rolling around with Oscar, but it's healed up, and again, we usually just treat that with antibiotics. So this is typical of Grizzly. What I was trying to get here in the footage was his breath, and it was cold enough that we could see his breath when he was panting and breathing out here. So I just want to give a sense of what we're dealing with in a morning of wolf care. So it was a bit chilly and a bit windy this morning, but everybody was fine, and that's certainly something that we make sure every morning that every wolf is doing well and dealing with the ambient temperatures. So in retirement, the ambient temperatures and the snow, these two come alive when it snows, and I don't know if that's because they're Arctic or it's just the nature of these two, but they get so excited in the snow. And so we saw a little bit of that chin rest of Shadow, saw him kind of posture a little bit, but what's most interesting here is Shadow really is guarding and trying to keep Malik away from the staff when they greet. And that kind of submissive ears of Shadow is more towards the staff than it is. And here he tries to paw, submissively jab to the staff to get a greeting, and we accommodate, turn the camera off, and go ahead and greet instead of film. So the rest of the exhibit doesn't have as much snow over here. This retired pen is fairly protected, so it didn't get as much snow as the main open areas of the exhibit pack, but it is, like I say, enough to stimulate a little bit of this more posturing kind of behavior, although we've been seeing that for the last couple of weeks, so that's nothing new to us. But it's been a good day, and like I said, we were a little worried about Luna and that cold spell, but she was so active this morning when we got here, and it was blustery and windy, and snow was blowing and wet, and she came right running up, and she just started racing around the pen. She came in and ate a little bit, and then she went running and played with the deer hide. So her first test of moderately cold, and I say moderately in that it was below 30, but not certainly any colder than that. She seemed to do okay, and so like I say, if we can get her on a joint supplement, treat that anti-inflammatory with just an aspirin, we should be okay. So I thought I'd include Oscar had a little bit more snow. He's out in the open yard. We had just set a deer leg on the picnic table, so it's got some snow, and there's a little bit of blood from the deer egg. He also ate a little bit this morning, so he's also doing what Grizzly was doing, and that's a face wipe in the snow. And that's one of Oscar's favorite things to do, and you can see just how windy it is here. The snow is blowing sideways, and Grizzly's watching him. That's why Oscar's here, is to give Grizzly some opportunities to focus on something different, and then also face-to-face interactions when they're rolling around. So that's about it. I thought I'd share you some of the still imagery we took today. Again, watching the dynamics and what we're seeing. Bolts is timid. Aiden is guarding Luna, and Luna is pretty much doing what she wants when she wants, is kind of the pack dynamic summary for this month. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.